real quick.
Do we expect a spike in cases as now that we're testing asymptomatic right now?
It's hard to say because we really don't know what the prevalence of transmission is right now. This will be a real interesting test to see. We really have not done, the only asymptomatic testing that we've done is in those congregate settings. And that asymptomatic testing was very intentional because we were talking about nursing homes and jails. And so when you're looking at those congregate settings where there is a high risk of transmission, you want to go in and test everyone, right? That's called universal testing. We've not done this in the general public. So we really don't know, and so I think it'll be interesting to see what the results come, what they come in as.
I know you had mentioned that the county mayor has been, the city conducted about 31,000 tests already. Just wanted to know, I know the goal was 3,000 a day. Have we reached that goal right now?
So that's not actually official quite yet. That is what we proposed in the health transition plan. And so we're pretty, it'll be interesting to see what our week rates are, because we're doing a lot of testing in our nursing homes and, as you know, in the jail. Let's get through this weekend with these 2 pop-up sites, and now with a different health advisory. I'm going to be interested, just like you are, to see what those results are. I don't think we're going to be at the 3,000 today, but I think we're going to be, we're rising, certainly. I'll be interested in seeing what happens over the weekend.
Remember, this is voluntary, so it's up to the person to decide whether they want to come or not. You can't force them.
Given the 150 number and given the turnout today, do we expect to increase the test at these sites?
We are. Yeah, so that's definitely one of the things that we learned, that we will have more people there to administer the tests and more supply. So let me give you, I don't have the date, that the number that I have that was around a little like 410 today was, Las Palmas was 128 and Woodlawn was 146. But at that time, they were still testing, right? Like the pop-up stopped at 5. So they probably did get close to that 150 at both sites.
So is anyone turned away from these sites?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. I have not heard. I usually get very good text message updates, and that I have not heard.
Dr. Emmerich, we actually spoke to some people that were out at those sites, and they mentioned to us that they weren't turned away, that they were asked to come back and schedule an appointment for another day. Just curious to know, because these sites are going to be moving pretty soon, what will happen, for these people that may have to have scheduled appointments for another date?
Yeah, well, we don't want to turn anyone away. We certainly have been talking for the last 3 months about the importance of getting testing, and if the demand continues to be this way, then we will certainly give some consideration of staying a little longer.
Also, just like to know, for the other sites, I know, do we have any unused testing kits, and is it possible that they may be distributed at other mobile testing sites in the near future?
So the only one that I can really comment on is the one that the city has a contract with. We don't really, Metro Health's lab is really a catch-all, so it's the safety net to the safety net. But the contract that we have with CPL Lab, that's the lab that we use for the Freeman site, as well as the second site at Texas Med Clinic. That contract it's basically based on what you use. Right? So if we know, I think our contract is 450, the capacity to do 450 tests a day with that contract, that doesn't mean that you get 450 tests delivered to you. It means that you can, and you don't pay by the 450. It's really based on what you use. If you have a carryover, you don't do it's not like your AT&T minutes, right? You don't have carryover minutes. And so it's based on what you use, and each day you have up to 450 to use. That's our contract with CPL. How other people do it, that's a specialized contract that they have with their labs.
Yes, the governor announced the reopening of public pools tomorrow. Is that going to be the case here in San Antonio?
So the city-owned pools?
Okay, yeah, we'll be working with our health transition team on the guidance that they provided. So city-owned pools and public facilities are left to a city-owned facility that's run by the city government is left by the governor to decide, for the local government to decide. So we're going to be following our health transition team guidance on the date of opening for those.
Does that include apartment complexes? And
So apartment complexes would be private property, and so they would be under the governor's order and can open as early as he's reported.
I'd like to go back to the positivity rate. Let's talk about something positive. With 6.3, can we elaborate a little bit more on that? And we always look at within a 2-week frame, so can we look at the past 2 weeks and the progression and the positivity we've seen to today, if we can?
So it's been holding pretty solid. It's been just under 7%. And know that the more that we test, the more that number will come down. That's a good thing, right? So that's going to be the stuff. So that number continues to come down. Even though it's small, it still keeps coming down. And as we get more testing out there and get closer to that 3,000 goal, you want to see that percent go down a little bit. So that's a good thing. And I think, I want to say like 2 weeks ago, it was just about 7%. So it's definitely inching down. So those are good signs.
Jackie?
Yeah. Would we be able to get numbers of positive COVID cases in residents and staff in the congregate settings that y'all mentioned yesterday?
So I think that request has already come in. And I was looking at some emails earlier. There's a group of folks within our organization that are trying to gather those numbers, and so we should have that. So I have that email with that request, so we're working on that.
Wonderful. And also wanted to ask, the sheriff did a little call earlier today where he talked about crime stats and how it looks like crime is going down. He did mention that with domestic violence calls, they do expect that to go back up with movement being less restricted later on. What measures is the city and county taking to, I guess, encourage people to either report domestic violence, or what resources are we offering to kind of fill that gap when they are trapped at home?
So you've heard us speak up here over the last month about the importance of reaching out. We don't want anyone to have a belief that the stay-at-home policy prevents them from getting out of a dangerous situation. So we urge them to call the hotline. If you know of an abusive situation, you can also call SAPD. And of course, if you're someone who's feels like they're on the edge and likely to take it out on someone you love, then we also want you to call. You're not alone. With respect to the organizations we work with on a daily basis to combat and prevent domestic violence, those are continuing to be funded as priorities, and you'll be hearing over the next several weeks how we're going to continue to fund those, but also increase the level of services being provided.
Yeah, at the Bexar County Family Justice Center, where they do help people with victims of domestic violence. We also have 4 lawyers there working, and we've seen an increased workload. More of them are seeking protective orders, so they've been very busy. And that brings us back to the issue of when people are, staying home together, arguments are going to break out. And unfortunately, things like this are going to happen. You also have the problems with mental health. You have the problems of isolation. So it's not been easy on families as they've tried to shelter in place, or they've tried to stay home. There's a lot of issues there.
Going back to the walk-up testing sites, Dr. Emmerich, I know you were saying you were surprised with the turnout today. What does this say to you in terms of the turnout in this particular area, Woodlawn and Las Palmas?
Oh, what does it say? Well, I think that it says that we should have been there earlier, right? Again, looking at our ability to get tests in this community has been hard. The supplies have been down and short in supply. And I think it's definitely a sign that, that yes, we should have been there earlier. And so we're glad that we're there. And we'll continue to be there as long as we need to be.
In terms, I know that it's very strategic on where these are going.
Yes.
Once this wraps up on Saturday, I'm assuming hopefully another 2 will open up next week. Any indication as to where that could go, or how is that going to work?
Yeah, we're still looking at that. We have a list of places. And, you know, it's hard when these are not things that you can just pop up. You've got to really make sure that there's wide space, that there's parking, that there's ability to keep that social distancing, right? Like you can't have confined areas. So it takes a long time for us to find the right place to do it. The property that you're on, you know, hopefully we try to look for city property, so that's easy. But if we have to find private property, then you got to go through all those permissions. So it does take some time, and we're being diligent about that. I want to also say that the locations that we're in are mostly, we really want to focus on those areas where there are uninsured and where there's just a provider desert, a historic provider desert, right? And I think that's the other thing that you're seeing is that there just isn't a whole lot of places to go. We had a map not that long ago that talked about how we have testing sites within 5, that people have access to testing within 5 miles of their area. Well, depending on where you are and whether you have transportation and what your situation is, 5 miles could seem like 50 miles. And so by bringing the tests to the neighborhood, you're literally standing up a provider, an office, a medical office. And I think that was also what you saw. You saw a neighborhood that said, hey, here's something right within walking distance that I normally don't have access to. And so we'll look at that list. We have areas that we're very interested in. The logistics of it will just take some time.
And Henry, let me mention that this is why I believe that the health transition team report and the economic transition team report that's built on top of it are so critical for our community, but also reports that perhaps the state and the country can learn from. This is the only one that I know of, and there's lots of transition reports out throughout the country that is based on and grounded in equity, understanding that there's different levels of access, different levels of historic inequities that have to be overcome in any given situation, but certainly in a crisis response. And so identifying where those are, understanding things like a provider desert, and then targeting those are the way that we can provide for equitable health outcomes in this community. And that's just one element of the crisis response that we have to continue to build on as we get into recovery.
I think it's really ignited that conversation for sure. Kind of an eye-opener, I think, for all of us, to be honest. Not to get too political, Mayor, but I do want to get your reaction on a tweet from Senator Cruz. I don't know if you've seen it or have heard about it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I wasn't on Twitter today. I was at council.
I know you've been busy today, but he was talking about your resolution on denouncing hate speech, and I'll just read part of it.
Sure.
But he said, "This is nuts. SA City Council behaving like a lefty college faculty lounge."
Well, I'll respectfully disagree with the assessment of that tweet. Look, we know, unfortunately, that in a crisis like this, we see not only the best of humanity, but in small doses, thankfully, in San Antonio, we also see the opposite of that. And what we want to say as a community is that we, in this effort, are going to reaffirm our values as a community, and that is one that embraces our diversity, finds strength from it, and stands shoulder to shoulder with every member of our community, especially those who are unfortunately found themselves victimized by some of the hate speech and crime that you see. It is a statement of values, no more, no less.
Dr. Emmerich, looking at today's community numbers versus jail numbers, in the past few days we've seen a fairly low number of new cases from the community. Today I feel like we went back up into the double digits that were higher. At what point do we go, oh, that's new, we're not going downward anymore, we seem to be going upward?
I love when you ask questions that I want to talk about. So thank you for that. The numbers have gone up a little bit, but we're not alarmed by it. It's okay. I think, and here's why. So when we look at the dashboard that we have set up on our website and all of those indicators, you don't look at just one indicator. You don't look at one indicator and it's going up and say, oh gosh, what's happening? That's why you have multiple indicators. And when you look at the health transition plan that the mayor just talked about, there's progress indicators and there's warning indicators, and there's several in both of those. Well, you have to look at all of those. So I'm going to balance that, my team is going to balance that, the experts are going to balance that and say, okay, yes, these numbers are going up a little bit, but is the hospital numbers going up? Are the ventilator numbers going up? Are EMS reports going up? Is our positivity rate going up? And all of that, the answer to all of those is no. So we're okay. If we start seeing that all of those trends start ticking up a little bit, then that's when we're going to kind of sit back and go, all right, we need to look at this a little bit more. So long answer to your question, but no, we're not alarmed yet, but we'll watch it.
All right.
Thanks, Bill.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you.
I'm sorry to always do that to you at the beginning of a broadcast. And we seem to be rising a little bit in people watching, right? We got 100, 150, 120 people. And then as this drones on, and the ridiculousness comes out of the San Antonio City Council, and thank you, Salo and Charlie, for saying the Chinese virus racist. We're going to get to that in a second. We got to get those comments up on there too. So let's start with the comments so I can do my best to follow them, because I can imagine this is going to be serious. So I watch Ron Nirenberg go through his process here with his leadership. And I use the term leadership to describe Ron's process very generously. Leaders don't divide. And it's a difficult position to be the mayor of the city. You got a lot of things coming at you. You have information flow on one side. You've got the opposite over here. You, as a leader, you try to take it all in. You try to do the best you can to make the decision, all sides equally. But the decisions that come out of City Hall are utterly ridiculous. And I think we witnessed that today. And we're going to get to this, because this garbage about a proclamation passing, unanimously, by the way, out of the city council, denouncing hate speech and all these other things with the relationship to COVID-19. I don't know what city Ron Nirenberg thinks he lives in. If you think you must pass a resolution to tell San Antonio residents and the world that San Antonio respects and treats everybody equally, and you have to proclaim that saying Chinese virus or Kung flu or whatever ridiculous thing people come up with, if you have to pass a law or a resolution or proclaim to the world, you San Antonians need to behave. And if you say that, you're a racist, you're a hate group, you're inciting hate and riots. If you feel, now correct me if I'm wrong, put it in the comments. If you feel you need to put that out there, then you don't know San Antonio. Not the San Antonio I grew up in. No, it's not, 100%. The San Antonio I grew up in takes care of everybody, loves everybody. You can go every side of this town, Ron Nirenberg, places you've never been. Places you have never been. Hanging out off of Hackberry on the east side, down the south side, Mission Road and South Cross, cruising up 35, maybe heading up down Southwest Military, up through District 4, right? Coming up around Valley High, Lackland Air Force Base. Those of us who served the United States military, hitting Petranco, going up 151, spending time on Bandera, Eckert, moving up to Churchill Estates in the areas up at District 8 and 9, off of I-10, going into Parambytle, down 281, heading towards District 1, in Beacon Hill, Alta Vista, moving east downtown, spending time down in District 3 at South Cross, at the VFWs. We are not a community, Ron, that needs to be told how to behave or proclaim to the world that these are unacceptable behaviors. We don't believe or behave like that. Look, you can have a right, man. This is the country we live in. If you want to say something about somebody, you have a pretty strong right to say whatever the heck you want to say with them, whatever conversation you want to have with them. Our Constitution grants you those rights. Never have I seen, in my 47 years, and the 40 plus of them here in San Antonio, never have I seen a more scarier time where our basic constitutional rights, our ability to speak our mind, say what we think, worship what we believe, buy where we believe, never have I seen it more under attack than today. You take a pandemic, you take a scary situation, albeit, we'll put it out there. It's a difficult medical situation. You take that to use it for your political gain. So what's happening downtown at City Hall. If you listen to Ron, one of the things he said was, this proclamation they passed today was rooted in equity. That's a political term. Equity. Meaning that, right? Meaning that everybody gets treated equally and the same. But it's not quite equal treatment as it is redistribution of wealth and opportunity so that everybody is on a level playing field. And I get that. That's what government, a role of government is, to do as best we can to support everybody in our community. But he's talking about, and out of the mayor's own mouth, he is talking about equity being in the proclamation that says you can't say certain things or else you hate your Chinese partners, brothers and sisters. You can't say, I don't know, Chinese flu. I guess Mexican food is gone, right? I guess that's out of the realm. I can't say Chinese food. I can't say a myriad of things if I attach a word that describes, right? Like Spanish flu. Oh, hold on a second. Hold on. Spanish flu is in all of our history books. Racist history. Spanish flu is in the history books, right? Ebola, right? If you watch the movie Outbreak, the Motaba virus. Lou Gehrig's disease. Yeah, right, that's from Sallow. It's ridiculous. And we're going to tear it up. I want your comments. Put them on there. I'm watching them right here on the screen. I got a little worked up because I think that pissed me off. It pissed me off the way San Antonio City Council's acting, and they act like that because they don't know San Antonio. Bunch of people from outside our community who didn't grow up here, who are not, right, understanding of the things that matter most to us. We don't need to be told how to act. Your constitutional rights are under attack, more so than ever. We're going to get to that in a minute, but for now, welcome to the broadcast. I'm getting close to the end of hair cutting time here. Allegedly tomorrow, they're up. Hey, Elizabeth, pipe down with that Chinese food comment. Yes, pipe down with that. Look, thank you for being in. Like it, share it, tag it, push it out there. The broadcast is the voice of San Antonio. We're going to put this information out there. We're going to talk about things that matter most. We're going to try to do it all together. Michael Garza, thank you for voting. We appreciate you, brother. Ray Rodriguez, man, always out there. Thank you for following. We want to be thankful. Like it, share it, tag it, push it out there. You can come on right now, onto the show anytime you want. I'll tell you where we film. We film at Align Mortgage of Texas. We love this space right here. It's fantastic. We film out here. You can drop in if you want to come to the show. Direct message us. I don't care if you think I'm the biggest fool on the planet, or do you believe me, or are you with me, whatever. You want to come on a show, come on a show. Hang out. Let's talk. Bring your argument. I can guarantee you we'll part friends. At the least, I will part at least civil. I don't care what you say or think. I just want to bring the argument and have a good conversation for it. And Henry Bassick, any recommendations for good Chinese takeout food? Bro, don't say that. Don't say it. You're racist. You're racist. All right, so said, look, thank you for following us. We appreciate you. The broadcast, the voice of people. We are here for information, a platform. Thank you to our sponsors, Align Mortgage of Texas. We film from here. It's the #1 VA lender in the state of Texas. Align Mortgage, led by Chris Cano, who occasionally comes on our podcast. He has his own podcast, the Chris Cano Podcast. Follow him. He talks about faith, talks about community, talks about mortgage. He's just generally a good soul and a good man, trying to do good in the world. We're thankful for him. Chris, I hope you're watching. If you are, brother, love you. We appreciate what you do for allowing us to be here. Thank you. That's Align Mortgage of Texas. #2, Louis Garcia and AAA Garcia Bell Bonds. Bro, we love you, Louis Garcia. As we always like to say, 2 ways to get out of the city council. Excuse me, I said city council when I was thinking about the jail. Put it back on. Put the picture back on me real quick. Made a mistake. I thought I was talking about the Bexar County Jail, and instead I said the other inmates, the one at City Hall. Louis Garcia, AAA Garcia Bell Bonds. We thank you, brother. We appreciate you. 2 ways to get out of the Bexar County Jail. They accidentally let you out, and apparently nowadays they accidentally let you out with COVID-19. We'll get to that in a second. And of course, you can bail out or bond out. Our brother Louis Garcia, always taking care of business. We love you, Louis. If you give him a discount code, you say Brockhouse, I'm pretty sure you're going to get left in the tank. So give them a gift code. Louis will take care of you. It's just something, hey man, Brockhouse sent me. I need a little help. He'll get you out of jail. Good family-owned business, San Antonio. Born, raised, family-owned business. Thank you. Tyler Hall and Speedy Salt. Tyler, come here. Come here. Tyler, he's been gone. Come here. This is my man. Well, come on, man. Yeah. Oh, why am I going? Why am I?
What's up, everybody?
Tyler Hall, Speedy Salt. Tyler, I got a guy up there, Garrett Varner. He needs a Speedy Salt contract.
Okay.
Get up there.
I'm
Close
gonna
him
get
out.
up there and sell it.
Tyler, Speedy Salt.
Hey,
This
by the
guy.
way, I just want to tell you that in my garage right now, I'll show you a picture, but I'm working on something.
All right, he's working on something.
We'll release it on this show.
He knows, this cat right here, if you see him on your Ring video, it's because he's replacing your water softener salt before you even know you need it. This cat's a genius. Speedy Hall. Man, why did I say Speedy Hall? Speedy Salt, we love you. www.speedysalt.com. And then let's go to our friend Chris Marty. We still got him up there? Chris Marty, Rebate House. Dude, you're looking for a home? Get with Chris Marty, Rebate House. He's one of our sponsors. We appreciate him. RebateHouse.com. Helping out a customer. I was talking to one of his folks the other day. She's buying up in New Braunfels. First-time home buyer. Chris is taking care of her. He's giving her some rebates. He's putting some money back in her pocket. And he's doing it for some of the cheapest costs on the market. Chris Marty sells house number 2 realtor in the city of San Antonio. If he can't sell it, I think he buys it. I don't know. You might look into that. But number 2 realtor in San Antonio. He's trying to get to number 1. I don't know what he's got to do to get there, but I'm pretty sure it's selling more homes. Call the man. We love him. We appreciate him. Thank you. All right, what do we got up? Let's go. I think we got a couple other entrance things. Did I have anything under where it says lead 1? There's only one thing I wanted to show. Is it like lead 1? I think I called it lead 1. I just want to show this. Joel Sparta is a buddy of mine, and he works at the business I do. We do mortgages together. And we're both from the Air Force. Now, I'm just showing you this because I got to brag on the Air Force. You got to check this out. Go Google Space Force video. Up will come the Space Force intro video. It is out. Unfortunately, we couldn't download it because I had some technical difficulties. So the Space Force video is super cool. It's 30 seconds in length. The United States Space Force. Totally awesome. Joel Sparta, that's for you if you ever see this. Keep an eye on it, though. The Space Force is for real, folks. All right? And I could have been. All right? I could have been in the United States Space Force. When I was in the Air Force, I was in the United States Space Command, the Air Force Space Command. I was stationed in Montana. I worked on ICBMs, nuclear missiles. Be careful. This is a rocket scientist right here. I used to do rocket scientist work. So Space Force is coming. I just had to brag. I had to brag about the Air Force because the Marine Corps, the Navy, the Army, they get all the cred, right? They get all the news. The Air Force, you know what? Here's a true fact. When Navy special operators get in trouble, guess who goes and gets them? Air Force Pararescue. Air Force Pararescue special operators. These are some wild dudes. The Air Force are some wild cats. Not only can we play softball and bowl better than any other branch, but we could save you when it mattered. Somebody said, what happened to the audio? Let's double check the audio. But thank you to them, of course. I'm good at bowling, man, because there's a skill to it, dude. Skill. It's a hook. It's an Air Force talent to be a good bowler. Tyler Hall, I'll stop referring people to Speedy Salt if you don't stop picking on the Air Force. Thank you to Saulo Rodriguez. I want to make sure. And Charlie, always behind the scenes, knocking it out, doing it cold. Absolutely great. My wife told me to settle down. I can't. I'm on caffeine. And I'm dressed up for you, Annalisa Brockhouse. Be careful tonight. I'm dressed up. So thank you, Tyler. Thank you to Saulo and Charlie. We appreciate you. So awesome work. If you need a podcast, give them a call. All right, Reina Castaño Colunga. Hi, friend. Yes, Liza. Miss you. I hope you're doing well. It's good to see you. My wife is officially texting me as well, telling me, hey, man, calm it down. Get to the facts. So, look, we're all over Air Force tops in golf. Come on, man. Let's get it. let's go to issue number 1 here, right? So coronavirus response. So we watched Mayor Nuremberg. We're going to get into the facts now. We watched Mayor Nuremberg. Thank you to everybody. We're already done with all that. Space Force, we love you. Ron Nuremberg. Let's get back to the beginning of where we were at point number 1. Let's pull the stats up and take a look at them. All right, here we go with the online self-screening tools. Is very important. Outline gives you a overall view of where things are at. This was a new one that was added into the online sanantonio.gov website. So you can click it, it'll go to the tool, and it says COVID-19 online self-screenings and hotline calls. So you can call in, do a self-assessment screening, and end up with some results back whether or not you should get tested or go find a spot. So here's some results from that. On the online screening, 73,341. Reassure, 39,452. Testing recommended, 33,889. You can see where the bulk of the testings are coming in. The bulk of the online screen calls and hotline calls are coming in. The hotline to the right, 21,859. This is some great information. It's about time we got this out. One of the biggest complaints about the city of San Antonio has been the lack of information flowing out. But this is solid. Look at the darkened purple areas on the map there. Here's an interesting fact. So this is accessible online. So a key point here is notice where all the purple is. That's where the bulk of these online screenings are coming from. What that also tells you is there's a huge digital divide in our city. Those areas are the heavy online digital aspects. Everything below that, there's probably, the reason people aren't using it lower around Highway 90 south of that, downtown south into District 3 and District 4, there are issues with online access. So what you're seeing there is a heavy concentration up north of people going to the website and checking it out. But hey, look, that's San Antonio right there. They're knocking it out, getting it cold, figuring out where they're at. 34,000 recommended testing. And it's like a 9-question survey. It's not a lot, but it gives you an idea whether or not you should go get checked. That's where we're at. Next screen, number 2. Is there a number 1 or number 2 up there? Here's the COVID-19 stats as of the City of San Antonio's website, sanantonio.gov. U.S. cases a little over 1.25 million. Texas cases 36,000. Bexar County 1,761. U.S. deaths at 75,000. Texas not quite at 1,000 yet. And Bexar County at 53. One person gone is one too many. We all believe that. We all know that. It's the biggest challenge we're facing. But that's where we're at with the stats on COVID-19. What's next? Is there one more piece of it? And there's the regular surveillance map. 1,761 total confirmed cases. Again, all accessible at sanantonio.gov. Heat map to the right shows you where in the darkened areas the actual positive test scores are. You can see it's kind of holding the same. But out west, we're talking Highway 90 to about Bandera, up to I-10, 281, heading out towards Alamo Ranch up to Helotes. You're seeing a larger increase. And that's, concerning. But again, it's about testing. The more we test, the more we're going to see, right? And the more we see, we're going to have a better picture. And we've talked about this in the past when it comes to coronavirus. We've talked about the fact that as we test more, we may very well learn that more positive folks have been walking around than we ever realized. And there's antibody testing. There's all these other things going on. They're going to tell us how many folks actually have contracted the virus, right? Got the virus. Didn't even think twice about it. Maybe thought it was a cold. It could have been December, could have been January. You weren't feeling well. You thought you had a slight touch of the flu or a cold or fever. And in reality, you had COVID-19, and you just passed it right on. You didn't think twice about it. You didn't go to the doctor or anything. We weren't testing. We didn't know. So we may learn, and I think we will learn, that there are far more people in the country, in the state and in Bexar County infected, right, that had COVID-19 or had coronavirus. We had no clue. But as those cases increase exponentially and we start antibody testing, we're going to realize that this probably wasn't as bad as we thought from a mortality rate, right, and a case of severity case. Right now, the folks that have underlying conditions are still suffering. But the more positive tests we see, we're going to see, I think, that there are going to be a ton more people had it, didn't have any clue. And that's going to be a big thing we're going to uncover over time, right? As we move forward towards the end of the year, we're going to be doing this kind of review of what actually happened. And as we review it, we're going to see, yeah, this was a lot more widespread than we ever thought. So those are the stats. That's where we're at. Those are the facts. So let's get in. I think we got some stuff lined up. Start with number 4. Let's go through some hot mic stuff here on number 4, 5, 6, and just start rolling them up. What do you got for number 4? No one should forfeit their liberty and be sent to jail for not wearing a mask. I'll make further announcements about this and related issues. The governor did exactly this. People were being jailed for keeping their business open. You want to talk about constitutional rights under attack? People being jailed for opening their businesses or not wearing masks or whatever, cited or fined for doing so, trouble. Mario Hume, good comment right there. Bexar County population 2,000,004. Cases recovered, fatalities ever hospitalized, 1,761. The math is stunning. The math is stunning. Good point on doing the math, Mario. Thank you. So these folks, now today, right, the Texas Supreme Court stepped in today. There's a salon owner out of Dallas area that got jailed for opening her business. And she said, look, I'm keeping my business open because I want to make sure my people can eat and continue to feed their children, their families, and everybody. So in doing that, she got flagged by the city. She got flagged by the county. She got arrested and thrown in jail for 7 days by the judge because she wouldn't apologize and promise to keep her business closed. In this particular case, though, the governor's come and said no more. The Texas Supreme Court said no more. It's done. Done. So we're seeing the state having to step in a big way to calm down local municipalities. Now, San Antonio, that's a completely different conversation. So keep commenting. Is the Chinese virus racist? We're going to get to that in a second. What else we got? So good call by the governor, and he's stepping in with legislation to actually get it done. Number 5. Look, we're going into a reopen mode, but look at this. Bloomberg, right, like Bloomberg, the media source. Bloomberg, Trump says U.S. must reopen even if more Americans get sick or die. That's, you know what, the president has got a balancing act, just like Ron Nirenberg does, just like Greg Abbott. Everybody has a balancing act, and that balancing act is you cannot destroy the economy, destroy the community, right, in an effort to combat the virus. And that's a, man, there is a point there where you cannot move one way. You have to make a choice one way or the other. You cannot move down the middle all the time. You can't win both ways. You can't destroy one to save the other. And someone's going to say, like Ron Nirenberg has continually said, well, hold on a second, one life. If we can save one life. Nobody disagrees with that. But again, the governor's got a very fine line to walk, as does the president, which is how do we hold the line, right? Protecting the community, protecting senior citizens, people with underlying conditions. How do we protect them? That population is huge, especially seniors. How do we protect that population but keep businesses open? Because at the end of the day, those businesses are jobs. They drive our economy. They drive food on the table. It keeps people alive. It works as well in keeping the social fabric together. Do you tear the entire social fabric apart over coronavirus? That is the decision that many elected officials are having to take and make across the entire country. Tough decision. Nobody doubts that. But I think some are being exposed as doing it well, and others as doing it from a fear factoring, constitutional right-taking mechanism. It's wrong. It's dead wrong. We're going to cover some more of that. So the president, look, Bloomberg, that's a horrific, right? Bloomberg put a horrific title up there, basically saying that the president is making a hard choice there to kill people to save the economy, and it's dead wrong. What do we got next? Yep, there she is right there, Shelley Luther. That right there is willfully and flagrantly violated the law. So Texas Attorney General says judge should release the jailed salon owner. Today, the Texas Supreme Court agreed. She's on point. She's out to be released. Thank you for that to the governor. She should have never been jailed in the first place. Again, that's your constitutional rights under attack, 100%. Your speech is under attack. What you wear out in public is under attack. How you communicate and how close you are to people. Your business is under attack. Now your voice is under attack with today's proclamation from the city. What more do you need to know than the government here locally in San Antonio is after you? If you want to watch, you can see what Shelley Luther happened to her up north. Government didn't like what she was doing, wasn't following the rules, they jailed her. Chicago, Mayor Lori Lightfoot up there in Chicago, same principle. If you step out and break the law of what the city's mandating you do, she's going to throw you in jail. She said it. I will throw you in jail. Liza as well said San Antonio people are doing an outstanding job. Still scary out there. Stay safe, my fellow San Antonians. Good point, Liza. San Antonians are doing a good job. We know our community. We know ourselves. We care about it. And we love them. Victoria Cavazos, keep them home. Let the rest of the world run. We did what was best. Now let's do it again. Open the economy from Linden down south. Hope you're doing all right. If Mayor Nurnberg cared about saving one life, he would be trying to shut Planned Parenthood down. Man, that is a, whoa, man, whoa. Jason, whoa. Whoa, man, Jason went there. So, is saying Chinese virus racist? Put us in the comments. Let us know. We'll keep going. What's the next comment we got right now on our update list? There he goes. He modified his executive order to eliminate confinement as punishment. Thank you, Governor. Thank you, Governor Abbott, right? It's a shame that has to step in. And there's the local news as well about the Dallas salon owner being jailed. Absolutely ridiculous. But thank you, Governor Abbott, for stepping in and getting it done. If the governor didn't step in and do it, then you've got San Antonio City Council run amok doing whatever they want to do. The cases don't indicate or dictate that we needed to be doing exactly where we've been, right, with the draconian laws and breakdowns of our society. But nonetheless, they're doing it anyways. If you watch the mayor today, he was almost sad that he couldn't do more things to you. It's like, well, yeah, I mean, it's the public. I mean, you know, the governor says, so I can't stop the governor, but I can sure make sure a city pool doesn't open up. Like, he is sad he cannot put more laws on you. It's absolutely ridiculous. What do we got? Let's read some comments here. There's no government money if there is no one working. Ooh, Lisa. Yeah, you hit the basics right there. Belinda Garcia, it's good to see you, Belinda. John Jay, graduate. They only acted when a white person was jailed. Meanwhile, Hispanic hairdressers sat in jail for weeks with no outcry. That's a fair point, Belinda. So like I said, bring multiple points to the table. There was a young woman, I believe, and Belinda, correct me if I'm wrong, in Laredo, that got jailed for a similar offense as the Dallas salon owner. And a lot of folks are saying, well, why is that? Why is that getting all the publicity from Dallas? And I'll tell you why. Belinda, it is not, the governor is not the issue there. The media is the issue. Because guess who the media picked up on? The media ran with the Dallas salon owner. The Laredo folks are talking about it, but the regular media, the Texas media, they're not talking at all about what's happening down in Laredo with your particular case. You bring up a great point, Belinda, and it's not so much, look, can the governor make sure across the board? Of course he can. We all own a little piece of it. But at the end of the day, the media is not the one, right? They're the ones that said just focused on, to your comment, Belinda, focused on that woman, the white woman up in Dallas and her salon. But that is what the media will do to you, right? The media will give you one little sliver of their little fact, right? Or if not even that, one sliver of opinion and turn it into fact. And then they no longer, and I've said this before, media is not, they're no longer reporting the news. They're creating it. They create it, right? Just like they created about me, right? They'll create it about whoever challenges the system. They'll create a narrative, and then they'll pat each other on the back. Oh, man, the fourth estate, how great the media is. Fake news is all over this city, period. And the media is going to be the first one to say, oh, there's no such thing as fake news. This is ridiculous. We're here to expose the truth and to make, no, you're not. You're here to sell papers, and you're struggling Express News. You have to go online. You're selling your building, right? You got a bunch of hacks for reporters. Let's be honest here, right? So let's really be honest. Your subscription rate's in the tank, so what do you got to do? Create this narrative of chaos. Create this narrative of hate and anger so you can sell, right? And then you're no longer, then you can call yourself an opinion journalist. And in reality, you don't report the news. That's why people are going to alternative sources for information and ideas. They don't want to deal with the crap from the local news. And the local news is what's leaving people out, like that woman on the border. Blame the media first on that one, because they're not reporting the whole story. They're telling the story they think is going to sell papers or get eyeballs on the story. What do we got next? Yeah, that... I take my personal hygiene very seriously. Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot violates her own quarantine advice to get a haircut. Oh my God. So this do as I say, not as I do. Do as I say, not as I do mentality. Dead wrong. Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot put a harsh ban on business. You couldn't get haircuts and all that stuff. She got busted getting a haircut. And then she said, now this is beauty, she said this on the news, oh, I take my hygiene very seriously, and I'm the face of the city. So, Yeah, not my hair, my hygiene. And I take it very seriously. And and I need to get a haircut, so I'm going to violate my own quarantine order. And folks, this was just recently, not within the last couple weeks. What are we doing? Just like watching the mayor when he's on his show and he's doing his thing, he ain't got no mask on. He's not wearing a mask. He's out of his house. He's not at home filming that. Nelson Wolf and that other woman, I think she's the Metro Health Director, Dawn Emmerich. I think that's her. The three of them aren't at Ron Nirenberg's house. They're not hanging out. No, they were downtown, so they left their home, and Ron and the judge, well, the judge has got his on, kind of like in Silverado, Three Amigos variety, right? He's got it right there. He's wearing a bandana. He's killing it with the ascot. The judge is wearing an ascot, so you can pull the ascot up, you know, it goes all like that. Ron's got nothing. So, hey, man, even Sylvester Turner, right? Sylvester Turner, the mayor of Houston, he's over there wearing a mask when he does his reports. So's Art Acevedo, the police chief of Houston. They're all wearing their masks. But you watch the city. Ron ain't wearing no mask. So King Ron is sitting up there saying, minions, wear masks. Wear a mask, little people. All these little people, wear masks. He's not wearing it himself. Now, you can say, well, we're social distancing and we're 6 feet away from each other. Hold on a second. Businesses and a lot of things, you have to you have to wear it. You have to wear your mask. I wear my mask. Just as much for my protection as is just in case I'm an asymptomatic carrier. I don't want to infect anybody else out in the public. I wear a mask. By choice, as most San Antonians would do. Ron, didn't want to do it. You do it. I'm not going to do it. Rules are rules. Haircut for me and not for thee. I like that, Lisa Pierce. You're awesome. James Moore, Shelley, okay, well, good for her. We'll leave Shelley lower with the good for her. Liberal Logic, do they even fill the Express News? Jack Finger tried to call him out today in the council meeting, then all of a sudden Jack's mic went out. Yeah, Victoria, that's probably true. Duck shut the mic off on you. Pretty sure that was Carol Baskin. Absolutely love it. Pete Rayner, what do you got to say there? Despite the bad dinner theater that we just had to sit through, Manny Pelaez, what a joke. I thought our politicians would be held to a higher standard. I also found it interesting that he used the word indignity while the very citizen who spoke was still in the room. Yeah, they do that often. They do that often. And look, I know Manny Pelaez, he'll call out citizens while they're speaking. I mean, he'll tell people what he thinks of them right there. Like, if he thinks you're an idiot, he'll come right up to telling you you're an idiot. Oh, he'll do it. I should invite Manny on. Manny, if you're watching, I got a spot right next to me within the 6 feet social distancing. I want you 2 feet from me, so you're right next to me. We can violate the rules. No. Dude, come on. We got to bring him on. Maybe we'll reach out to him because the guy will literally say exactly what he thinks. Now, nobody's agreeing with what he thinks, but he'll say it. Or maybe they do. I don't know. But he will call out citizens right in front of him doing their word. It's crazy. The mayor and the judge's hair look pretty good. Yolanda Ramos. That's good. That's good. What do we got next? Let's see what. Okay. I thought, that's Madonna, by the way. Yeah, I know, man. That's Madonna right there. I'd sing a Madonna song, but I'd get another text from my wife telling me to stop. I'd sing Borderline. That's what, under the borderline. Yeah. I don't know about that. That's Madonna. So Madonna, a lot of stars are saying right now, and elected officials and scientists. I like that word, scientists. Call for the world not to go back to normal. Right? It's easy, and I love it. I love it when rich people, West Coast liberal billionaires, and 100 millionaires, I love it when they tell us we should sacrifice. Madonna's like, you should sacrifice. Exactly. We should never go back. Equality in pay. All these basic human rights. Everybody across the board living equally in peace and harmony. Chocolate rivers. Rainbows of Skittles and free food. You know, but I'm going to keep my billions. Like, I'm going to shelter in place in my 5,000 square foot mansion in Malibu. But you need to sacrifice, America. We need to go to a state where it's just straight. Man, we're talking Hunger Games, right? Everybody the same. Everybody the same. No, you're full of it. It's not going to happen. So, you know, look, Madonna's out there. She's telling us to behave, as are many scientists. I read the article, and essentially that's what they're saying. We should begin to remove and enhance the social safety nets, basic universal income, health insurance for all, everybody on the same playing field. Unless you're already rich right now, your playing field stays rich. But everybody else, we got to level you off. We got to level you off right there. It's not going to happen. Not going to happen. So we don't need Hollywood liberals running us or telling us how to live our life, but they do it, man. They try. What do we got next? Yep, there you go. To wrap that up, it only took a virus with a 99% survival rate to convince Americans to give up their rights. What rights are we giving up? Let's recap it. Saulo. Let's recap the rights we're giving up. Right to dress. Right? Now I can't go outside. I have to wear a mask. I can't step into certain places. I got to be very careful. Right? I got to wear the mask. Although certain elected officials don't have to, I have to. Right? How you dress. Now today, your speech. I'm going to show you that in a second. That's up next. Comment in there. Is the Chinese virus racist? I want to hear what you think. Got to wear the mask. Got to watch what you say. Watch where you go. Freedom of movement. Freedom to say what you think. Freedom to wear your clothes. Freedom to dress. What more does the government need to come after you, man? They're also going to take your freedom and your right to equal elections, right? They're talking about mail ballot. Mail-in ballots for everybody. Let's let everybody vote, right? I get it, man. At this point, it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't make a difference. You don't have to register. You don't have to show an ID. Don't do nothing. Just show up and vote. That's what they want. Jeanette Reyes, I get you, Jeanette. Come on, it's for safety. I'm adhering to it. I'm not saying don't adhere to it. I'm just saying these are rights that are no longer based on your personal choice. You're done. You don't have an option. But it is for safety. Okay, I'll give you that it is a safety factor. There's some safety to it, although even the U.S. Surgeon General has said wearing a mask, give me a break. Not really going to go. They're testing us. That's what Lyndon Thomason said. Good point, right? No, the Chinese virus isn't racist. CNN called it that first. Ms. Hubbard there, you're absolutely right. We're going to get to that in a second. Derwin Dunson, not racist. Worship, very good word today, especially on the National Day of Prayer today. So I think we've given up some rights. Or if they're tested right now, the government is seeing what they can pull from you. What can we take? What can we hold off? What can we bring back and realize? How much will the citizens actually take? And it's gotten to a point where the citizens have now reverted back and they're trying to get back everything they've given up. That's why the country's opening back up again. Americans have had enough, and they're going to do their best to get back to life. So, yeah, the most powerful piece of political art I've ever seen. There it is, COVID-19 2020. Wait till you see what happens on the elections. There's the scales of justice, not that they were ever all that equal, but that is about a good wrap-up right there. It is on point, right? That's what we're doing. If you don't think so, mask a little higher, mask over your eyes, not your mouth and nose. That is the point. That's the truth. What we got next? Are we up on the Chinese virus vote today? Oh, let's play the COVID game. Release the criminals, jail the citizens. Whoa, 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 whoa. Where'd you get that from? This is absolutely true. We are jailing citizens. Oh, God, man, Sallow, good find, good find. So Sallow brings it home with that one right there. And take a minute on this one. So I wasn't prepared for this one. From time to time, Sallow pulls out something a little wacky on me, right? Pulls out a little different meme. I don't know what's coming my way. He does a little box of chocolates there. I think I'm getting a caramel, and I end up getting something really funky coconut. The COVID-19 game. Release the criminals, jail the citizens. Is that happening? I don't know. What do you think, people? Put it in the comments. Because is it not happening right now? We jailed a salon owner. We jailed a woman in Laredo on the border for not following the rules, but we're letting criminals go by the boatload. Jail law-abiding citizens for following the rules or not following, whatever, according to the leadership. Jail them while we're letting out people who have actually committed legitimate crimes. Let them go because the crime wasn't bad enough, right? Didn't rise to the right crime level to keep them locked up. Man, that's a powerful thought. When you're jailing those citizens, man. Oh, they want to normalize it. They want the people to think that's okay, right? They want people to think it's okay. Well, yeah, the person broke the rules. She shouldn't have opened her shop. That's worth going to jail for 7 days for. Oh, this guy over here, right, that hit and run or ran over somebody, man, it was a minor crime. He didn't mean it, right? It's a minor crime. Minor crime. Let him go. Let him go. Let him walk, right? It's nuts. It's absolutely crazy. Good point. So we got the one up next on this city business with the vote today. I got to know. Let's get right into it. How do I send you this resolution? All right, I'm going to airdrop it to you. We're going to read this, just a little bit of it. I'm going to airdrop the resolution. San Antonio City Council. The San Antonio City Council today voted to ban hate speech related to COVID-19 because the City Council felt that they needed to proclaim to the world that San Antonians better behave. Because if you don't behave, right, what's going to happen? I don't even know what their resolution, it doesn't have any teeth, but it may not now, but it may in the future. So we should be worried when they pass resolutions. Resolutions oftentimes become laws. If they become laws, you get held accountable for it. If you get held accountable, you get thrown in jail, you get prosecuted, you get fined. Who defines the hate speech? Ron Nuremberg? I'm curious. Who calls it hate speech? Who says it's an anti-Semitism comment? Who says it's anti-immigrant? Who says it's anti-anything, right? Anti-LGBT. Who says anti-whatever? It's out there, right? So who does it? Who makes the decisions? Did you get it? I want to show y'all what this proclamation looked like. Here it is. This is big time. I got to put my glasses on to read this tiny font. All right, here it comes, right? The draft resolution voted on today. Whereas the COVID-19 outbreak and the virus, 3 million cases and more than 228,000 deaths have been confirmed worldwide. What even matters about worldwide? According to Johns Hopkins University, I don't care what's happening in China. I really don't care. I care what's happening in the United States. Here we go. 1 million cases in the United States, 57,000 deaths. COVID-19 will not be stopped by political boundaries. Was not created or caused by any race or nationality. The World Health Organization has cautioned against using geographic descriptors, whereas COVID-19 has affected people from all race, nationalities, ethnic backgrounds. The city of San Antonio is fully committed to the safety and security of its residents as it confronts COVID-19. Each individual has the ability to promote inclusiveness, diversity, support, and prevent the spread of misinformation, rejecting hate and bias in all forms, whereas hate crimes, here we go, discrimination and aggression against Asians and Jews are on the rise throughout the country. Okay. Throughout the country, not San Antonio. Ron Nuremberg, if you think this is San Antonio, you are not one of us. And if you feel you have to warn us to not do this, you are not one of us. You're not. And we get it. You're from Austin and Boston. You're not San Antonian. I get it. I'm okay with that. You came to San Antonio, you adopted us, you became one of our own. Okay, fine. You can call us home. I'm okay with that. But you must not know San Antonio if you think you need to warn us to not be a bunch of racist hate groups. Bring it back up. Let's see what we got. Extremists are taking advantage of COVID-19 to spread their hateful ideologies, including anti-Semitism, racism, Islamophobia, and xenophobia. And whereas the growing spread of COVID-19, there are surging reports of bias-motivated incidents targeting Asian and Pacific Islanders in the U.S. Terms such as Chinese virus and Kung Fu virus to describe COVID-19 only encourage hate crimes and incidents. By the way, CNN called it the Chinese virus. Many times. Many times it was called the Chinese virus. Spanish flu, all these, right? All these different terms for flus over the years that identified based on the locality where it started. Chinese virus was utilized by many people in the media when it came out. Let's finish up with reading the proclamation. And then I want to know what you think. Put it in the comments. We're going to go back and read them. That's it. Kung Fu. What else we got? Is that it? It's the last page. We hereby, I think there's one more page. Like, there it is. We resolved. Here it is. Resolved. The city will continue its efforts to protect residents. Okay, here it is at the bottom. Go all the way down to page right there. Go down a little bit further. Oh, man, what's going on there? Scroll down. Can you scroll down? There it is. The city of San Antonio denounces anti-Semitism and anti-Asian bigotry, joins cities, counties, and states across the country in affirming its commitment. I don't know who else is doing this. I'll take a look, but whatever. The city of San Antonio will continue its efforts to protect residents and target victims of hate. Who are they protecting? I'm sorry, I don't know of any of this occurring in the city, right? In partnership with nonprofits, the district attorney's office, beware. I'm going to use the DA's office against you, the police department, other law enforcement, pledges to support inalienable rights of all people in our community, respect and must remain safe during this pandemic. The city of San Antonio urges residents to join us in calling attention to these harms and denouncing hate. All right. Whew. Man, that's a lot. I got to tell you, what a bunch of garbage. Now we got to call it like it is. This is a Brockton Loaded, and I want to see your comments in here. I have never seen a moment. I've seen a few things come out of City Council who do these proclamations. The proclamations is just, it really is not, there's no teeth in it with law, but they can put information out there and they can say, hey, this is what we believe. Sometimes, though, actually oftentimes, proclamations become ideas, become law, ordinances, and regulations. So you got a problem there. If it starts as a proclamation, becomes a law, you get held accountable because you say Kung Flu, and you're in the slammer, right? Or you're cited and fined. I keep messing up those two words. I have never seen a time where the San Antonio City Council was so out of step, right? It's just dead wrong. This isn't San Antonio. They do these things, right? Elected officials, people like that, downtowners, right? People from out-of-towners that get elected. It is not San Antonio. Taj Matthews and I disagree on this. Disappointing and sad. It's hard to believe that this is the same person. Divisive, unfunny sarcasm, debate regarding what is acceptable. Taj, it's not racism, right? It's not racism. This is not what this is about. I'm defending San Antonio, Taj. There are no instances where we have to tell San Antonio residents that don't be racist, don't incite hate. No, Taj, it doesn't belong in it's not San Antonio. You have to know this. You grew up in this community. You're an East Sider. You lead in the community. You're a leader, Taj. Proclamations like this serve no purpose. It does not describe who we are. It is a waste of our time. It is not San Antonio. We can disagree on it. And I don't know of anybody doing it. And is there a case of 1, 2, 3 people that are running around saying something or maybe attacking with some anti-Semitic behavior? Sure. Is there 1, 2, or 3 people? There always is. In every walk of life, right? In every building, business, religion, there's always somebody who are going to take it a step too far. And they're going to be disgusting. They're going to be ridiculous. That's all walks of life. But passing a proclamation that says these things are occurring, that says they're happening, it's not reflective of San Antonio. It's not who we are. It's not who we have been. And it's not who we're going to be in the future. We are a respectful, diverse community. Taj, you know that. You and I broke bread together. It is not who we are. We have our problems as a community and city. There are racial inequities. Of course there are, in every city. There are economic inequities. There are things growing in our community and city. There are problems across the board. We all own them to some extent. We have to be cognizant of them, but not a proclamation that tells us, or at least puts out to the world, that San Antonio has these problems. And that's part of the problem. Part of the problem is when you do this, you're proclaiming to the world that we have some reason to be doing this, right? That this insightful hate, this rhetoric belongs in San Antonio. It doesn't. It doesn't belong anywhere. Nobody believes that. But we also know this isn't our community. We don't need to be told that, especially at a time. So now you can't say things. And I'm sorry, Taj is a perfect example. He brings up some good points. But we can agree to disagree. Plus, in this country, you can almost always say whatever in the hell it is you believe. It is what it is. You can say what you believe. We have to respect even the fool screaming at the top of his lungs that which we would spend our entire life advocating against. We have to give him that right to speak his language. It is part of our Constitution. When we pull those rights away, it's a step one. It's a trial balloon. I saw that up there. It's a trial balloon. If they can take an inch, they're going to go to 2 inches. Then they're going to a foot. They're going to chip away at who you are by the simplest thing of identifying you as a hate group, as a racist, as a bigot, an anti-Semite. Here's the problem. And Taj, I respect you. I know you probably think this is, well, you said, this isn't the person you know. Well, look in here. Listen here. This defends you too, Taj, because you should be able to say exactly what you think. But don't get caught up, for those of you that disagree with me, don't get caught up in thinking because there's a pandemic and there's crisis in the world, there's crisis in the state, there's crisis in Bexar County. Don't give up your rights. Don't even give them up an inch. to think that's an answer to fixing the problem. Because once you give it up, what happens? You never get it back. Example of the hypocrisy: German measles, Spanish flu, Asian flu, Hong Kong flu, Zika virus from Zika, Uganda, MERS, Middle East, respiratory syndrome, West Nile virus, Chinese flu is racist. What do you think about that? There you go. But case closed. Case closed. Why is it racist now? I don't know. What answer do you have for that? Put it in the comments. San Antonio is one of the most happily socially integrated cities in the USA. Absolutely right. The 1968 pandemic going to be considered racist. I was really surprised to see this during the council session today from Amanda Castillo. It is odd because there's not, I mean, look, Chinese virus is not racist. It's not. And look, huge supporter. We have a Chinese American Alliance in San Antonio. I've been to their event every year. They're fantastic. It's a fantastic community, man. If you have not been to their event, you got to join it. The Chinese community and the leadership in this town, 100% supportive of them. They do fantastic work. Donor, volunteerism, you name it. Look, Chinese virus, it's the same thing as Spanish flu, same thing as German measles. It's the same thing. But why is it racist now? Oh, I know why it's racist now. It's because Donald Trump said it. Wow, yeah, that is right there. That hypocrisy right there. Look, I'm no big fan of that guy, right? Of that right there is not good. But that's what's floating around the internet, right? They're people and we show that so that people can see what they're saying about the president. That's what they use. That's a tool they use to say, oh, look at this racist guy right here. Right? This is who he is. Where does it end? Where does the truth actually take hold? But that's the stuff that's out on the internet. That's the stuff that's out there. I don't show you because I think it's hilarious. I'm not laughing at that. When I'm looking at that is saying, this is what people are putting out there about him. The whole world, social media, the media, all that's built to support that conversation. Racist president. Why? He said Chinese virus, racist. Man, the hypocrisy has never, it's like the Me Too movement right now. Right? Joe Biden's sexual assault allegations, Biden being Biden. It's okay, it's all good. I know Joe. Joe's a good guy. Love Joe. Donald Trump's sexual harassment allegations, that man's a devil and needs to go to jail. There it is, Me Too movement. Kirsten Gillibrand, who was instrumental in getting rid of one particular senator, Al Franken, booted him. Klobuchar, Me Too. Harris, Abrams, Nancy Pelosi. Pelosi literally said, it's Biden being Biden. I know Joe. It's all good. I trust him. He's my buddy. He's my friend. Hypocrisy. I'm not saying Donald Trump has not made mistakes a mile long. Okay, the man's made mistakes. I'm not saying he hasn't said ridiculous things or tweets that we all look at each other like, why did you tweet that? Why would you do that? But that hypocrisy, right? Chinese virus, racist. Me Too movement, Joe Biden good. You're caught. You're caught in your garbage. You're caught in your circular piece. Elizabeth, where's Me Too now? Yeah, that's a good point. Where's Me Too? My wife and I talk about this all the time. Touchy subject. We'll have to have this subject up because I don't know if you remember this, but 1 year ago, we ended up in a runoff on election night, right? I was in the middle of a mayoral campaign. We ended up in a runoff. Mayor was at 48. I was at 46. We went on into a runoff, and then all of a sudden, here come the Me Too people. In fact, they called themselves Metu, right? It was in Espanol. Metu, right? And they miraculously appeared because it was politically advantageous to show up and attack, and then they disappeared, right? They disappeared off the face of the planet after they accomplished what they felt they needed to do. Welcome to hypocrisy. Welcome to hypocrisy. Now you're gone, never to show up again. Oh, bye-bye. It doesn't matter. I got what we wanted. Now the hypocrisy is caught because you're trying to call it out, right? You're trying to call it out. Joe Biden is in the mix of that. Joe Biden is facing that big time. So it's an interesting mix in how politically that's going to work out because we're not going to see what's going to happen with Biden and Trump until it jumps back in it. When it jumps back in it, man, it's on. Man, it's on. Well, we got some comments flowing. Let me see here. I got some comments. It's close for me to read it right here. No presidents are perfect. What else we got? Pete Reyna, a new Chinese coronavirus, a cousin of the SARS virus, has infected hundreds, beginning in Wuhan. When was this? February 18th. Woo, thank you. Man, Pete Reyna, you caught that one. Matt Makoviak just sent me in something great. Let me bring this up. I'm going to read this to you. Right here, Matt Makoviak, political consultant, Austin County Republican Party chair. Jay Avila's tweet. So he shared this with me right now. Resolution being voted on by San Antonio City Council from Jay Avila this morning labels Chinese virus and Kung Fu virus as hate speech, and any and all persons encouraged to report any such behavior, discriminatory or racist incidents to the proper authorities for investigation. Thanks for sharing that, Matt. We appreciate you. Look, it's a bad vote. Tell us what you think. Let's read some of these. Trump is a planner. Everything he has is an end game. Well, the Donald has to do a lot better in what he's doing, right? I mean, we can all see that. That race politically, and this is one of our top topics for tonight, that race politically is going to be a tough one. And we're coming into a heavy political season. All the runoff primary elections, the primaries are done, but the runoff elections are up in July. And we're going to see some battles locally in Bexar County politics. We're going to see the president is gearing up. That race is going to take foot. After COVID-19 and coronavirus kind of calms down a little bit, we're going to see this start to ratchet up. The political word is coming. We know we're going to see an onslaught of digital work coming our way. You think you've seen a lot right now? Wait till about August, September. It's on. Somebody says Ron is hacking the live feed. We got some problems on the feed. Just keep an eye on it. It's coming. So, Trump, Biden, hypocrisy, Me Too, the president, his Me Too issues, the decisions on coronavirus, Biden's age, Trump's age, the debates. The swing states are going to decide it. Saw a report yesterday that Texas is neck and neck. I don't know if it's true or not. Depends on who polled it, who they asked. But neck and neck Texas, going to be a challenge. We'll see. The president won Texas previously. Is he going to do it again? Is Joe Biden going to be able to run a campaign? Somebody said we lost the feed. Charlie, how are we doing? We're good? All right. We are good, people. If you're watching, keep an eye out. Charlie says everything's moving well. I'm watching it on here as well. So pay attention to it. Keep an eye on it. Biden, Salo, people are saying we're losing the feed, man. Is it back? All right, we're back. It's going to pop back and forth with these elections. It's going to be down to a 9 or 10 state battle. Whether it's Texas or not, we're going to see. But pay attention to what's happening. We need to see some more. What else we got? Anything else? Anything else popping up? Brad Parscale, I wanted to share this one. 3 years we've been building a juggernaut campaign. I don't know if I'd call it the Death Star. It's firing on all cylinders, data, digital, TV, political surrogates, coalitions. President's ramping up. The Democrats, ramping up. It's coming. They're going to be the biggest political year of all time. You have to vote. You have to get engaged. Are we still moving? He tweeted that yesterday, I think. We still moving, Charlie? We good? Yeah, it's going to be an amazing time. Be prepared. Be ready. Keep an eye on it. What else we got? Next up is memes. That's it. Trump is pushing back to have his border wall painted black. See, here's what we're talking about decision making. KSAT 12 reported this. Paint the border wall black could drive up costs for $500 million. What's the president doing? It's going to cost him votes. Analyze him. Talk about him. Think about him. I mean, we should have that hard discussion too. Like, what is the president saying that's pissing people off? This is going to piss people off. I don't know why the damn wall needs to be painted black. Is that more cost in a period when we should be investing back into small business? You know what? You got to be careful. It's not going to be an easy battle. The Democrats are geared up and coalesced around. The Democrats will do anything to defeat the president. That's it. What we got? Yeah. So we are going to see these things. That's the Phil Hardberger Park taking shape. That's some more hypocrisy, right? We've got people on a pandemic shutting down the city. Pandemic shut down. People testing positive. Can't go places. Small business crumbling. Unemployment. Food lines by the tens of thousands. And Phil Hardberger still gets his bridge. $25 million project. $10 million, right, privately funded, about 13, 14 million from your tax dollars. So the world's upside down. Well, upside down. But Phil Hardberger, who, by the way, is Ron Nirenberg's political godfather, still gets his bridge. We can shut down the entire world, but not the Critter Bridge. I don't understand. We have to make sure those deer and raccoons can scurry across Wurzbach Parkway and not get hurt, because we have to make sure those Northsiders and Phil Hardberger, right, his Northsider buddies, his little card-playing, smoke-filled room private parties, can walk across the bridge next year and marvel at how great it is. Right? $25 million. We're taking tax money. We're paying for people's rent. We're spending all kinds of money elsewhere. We're doing things for rent and utilities, as we should help, but the money's coming from taxpayers, but yet we're wasting taxpayer monies on crap like this. The Critter Bridge is garbage. I don't care what. Oh, man, it's going to be the most beautiful. It's going to be the only thing like it in the world, Greg. How could you say that? It's going to be a beautiful piece of art. I don't know. I could say that now because people aren't eating. Streets don't get fixed for 30, 40 years. How about that? You know, do those things matter? I don't know. People can't find jobs. Maybe those things aren't as important anymore, but the Critter Bridge is. That's the hypocrisy of City Hall. What's up next? Anything? Memes are up next. I'm a Democrat, and I don't agree with that. Thank you, Dina. That's a good point. Can we cook the critters? Aha! We got some memes coming up. All right, we're about that. Oh, this is actually a point. Judge dismisses sexual assault allegations against Biden on the grounds that he's not a Republican. I think we can wrap up the electoral decisions solely based on that one. Solely based on that, right? Oh, and then another random shot. Just the news of the day. Tesla CEO Elon Musk had a baby boy with his girlfriend. I just want you to try to pronounce that name. That's the baby's name right there. XAE12. Hey, man, Elon Musk. Check this guy out. We know he owns Tesla, SpaceX. He did PayPal. I think that's how he got all his bucks. PayPal. He created PayPal. He's giving up all his wealth. He's selling everything he owns. Yeah, he's selling it all. He's going to give it all up. I don't know how he's going to live. Off the grid. Going to sell it all. That guy's putting his money where his mouth is. You know what Elon Musk also said the other day? Open up the country. Let's get back to work. It's time to get back to work. The Critter Bridge versus... Sonia, the Critter Bridge before the homeless. What say you, Nuremberg voters? Russ, it's good to see you. That's a good point, Sonia. Taj, you commented earlier. What about that Critter Bridge? Could the East Side use $25 million? Could they use some bridge and street work over there? Love to see you chime back in, Taj. Good debate. Could we use that money in crime prevention all over the city? Could we use it in sports leagues and things like that for kids when they're out of school? I don't know. All right, what do we got? We're at memes time right now? New data show. Oh, by the way, this is a good one. Definitely leaving China. We're going to see a shift in the global economy away from China. This is going to be one we're going to keep our eyes on from a radar perspective. The trade war and all these things that have happened with China. People are sick and fed up with China right now. There ain't nothing wrong with that. Doesn't make you a racist because you think China is responsible for all this garbage. The Chinese government. Doesn't mean you're going to walk around insulting Chinese people. That's what I guess the mayor and the city council are trying to, oh man, this is ridiculous. No, doesn't work that way. The Chinese government has a lot of culpability in this for lying, not letting out information, keeping it quiet. I don't know if they constructed it in a lab somewhere. Who knows that? We'll find that out later. But the truth is they held back, didn't say we're supposed to believe China, 1 billion plus people, had 82,000 cases in the United States, 300 million. I don't know, 1 million cases, give or take. We're supposed to believe that's the truth, that China is so worthy of defense, right? Based on those facts and numbers. Give me a break. We all know what the truth is, right? It's just a matter of we got to get to it. You got to prove it. We're going to find out, I think, China's a lot more culpable than we ever thought. Homeless can live under the Critter Bridge. Man, Ray, you had to go there, brother. Barbie Harlan on voter mail fraud. We've hit that one a few times, too. Man, oh man. Again, never let a good public crisis go to waste. If you can find a way to restrict constitutional rights, right, or help dead people vote, you better believe some people are going to take advantage of that. Republicans and Democrats, man. Republicans and Democrats. I'll tell you right now, people are going to take advantage of the system. Mail-in ballots is ripe for taking advantage of. All right, we have memes time. Okay, we're kind of moving into some fun stuff, and then we're going to wrap up. Fun stuff here. Nicolas Cage cast as Tiger King on Joe Exotic there for Netflix. That scares me in more ways than you can ever possibly imagine. First of all, the Tiger King scares me, big time. Watched the show, and it was absolutely hilarious. But Nicolas Cage, one of the greatest overactors of our generation, right? Nicolas Cage is going to be doing the Tiger King. It's going to be awesome. If you think you wanted some must-watch TV, go to the Tiger King, right? Watch this on Netflix. Nicolas Cage is going to play him, man. It's going to be awesome. I saw Tiger King. I loved it in a very weird sort of way. I couldn't stop watching it. And then I went to Ozark. By the way, Ozark is even better. But the Tiger King was good because it was like watching just a human train wreck. Oh, yeah, I saw Ozark. It's amazing. Yeah. Awesome. It's awesome. Watch Ozark if you haven't. Netflix coming out with great content. Let's do some memes and we'll do a wrap-up. All right, so check this out. Wanted to show this because people are like, man, Brockhouse, you got to get out there and do some stuff to help. We've been delivering food and different types of necessities to people out in the community. Wanted to talk about this one. And Shake Shack. Look, Shake Shack, they caught some tough publicity in the news over the Paycheck Protection Program, but that's national stuff. Locally here, this Shake Shack out at Park North, right there at 281, donated over 80 meals for first responders. And you'll notice there we're joined by Align Mortgage of Texas, and right there on the far left is Brian Pena from Torado Real Estate Group. So Align Mortgage, Torado Group, and Brian Pena, RE/MAX Realtor, and Shake Shack, and we hit Fire Stations Unit 35 at Calibra and 410, West Substation, Calibra and 410. Then we went downtown off of Mayfield and hit South Substation at 10 p.m., all the dog watch shifts, the overnight shifts, and we delivered these meals. Just amazing. And thank you to Shake Shack for donating all these things. We dropped off those T-shirts right there, too. Thin Blue Aligned. That's Align Mortgage of Texas helping kick in for the delivery. Some great people right there. Bern, Lino Cano right there. I'm right there. Lauren and Brian Pena and the manager right there all masked up from Shake Shack holding the T-shirt. Thank you. We continue to do this. Just dropping off food, man. We don't always talk about it or advertise it because you don't need to selfie yourself every time you do something for the community. You don't need to do it. But this one I wanted to show because Shake Shack, thank you for what you did. I'm wrapping it up. Here's some social distancing at the checkout at PetSmart. Classic. Look at those dogs. My dog couldn't sit still for 1 minute. What we got next? Yeah, you lied. My kids are not a joy to have in class. Little Chuckies. Little Chuckies, right there. There it is. Playpens. You're doing it wrong. Look at that kid. Kid's loving life. Dad blocked the kid from the workstation. Your Philadelphia Eagles quarterback. Have to knock a couple of football memes because I do miss football season in sports. Of course, they drafted right there Jalen Hurts, quarterback of the Sooners, and always Hurts. That's Carson Wentz. Here we are. Football joke coming out of quarantine 2022. A few pounds heavier. Not much. Cool way to make friends. That's how it was in basic training, man. Yeah, just like that, basic training 1990. There you go. For those of you that say I need to get a little more funny on Trump, there you go. Cutting your own hair in lockdown. For those of you who don't recognize, that's President Trump. I think that's with Al Davis, or it's the owner of the Raiders, Davis. That's his face, his hair, but I think that's Davis's hair with the Trump's face. When it's been 5 minutes and she's still typing. Yeah, man, you know you're in trouble right there. All right, man, murder hornets. This is some hilarious stuff. So I didn't really want to get into it. It's kind of stupid, but it's actually funny when you think about it. That's why it's in the meme section here. Bees preparing for the murder hornets. So just when the COVID-19 is beginning its downward trend, right, on scariness, they rolled out the murder hornets invading the country. This is legit. Google murder hornets. I don't know. I mean, look at that Clorox. This right here. If the murder hornets don't scare the world, Release the grizzly gators. That's so stupid. Like a dinosaur. That's not even a grizzly. It's like a dinosaur. That's like a Jurassic Park. A couple dies of coronavirus and meth lab explosion. That's a good one. That's a good one. All right, here. Just because you can cut your own hair doesn't mean you should. That's a scary looking dude. Murder hornets? You mean Baskin bees? That one I can't stop laughing at. Murder, death, kill bunnies from Asia. Seen swimming toward the States. So wait a sec, go back to that one. Seen swimming towards the States? Man, I tell you what, look at the teeth on that murder bunny. How toddlers look at you as they're about to do something that you specifically told them not to do. Hey, have you seen The Mandalorian? Gotta watch it. It's amazing. That's going to be Amato Rodriguez. Saulo's 2-month-old son, when he grows up, is going to be like this, getting ready to stick a fork into the outlet. He's going to be like, they said Hillary was the only candidate that could lose to Donald Trump. Biden, hold my, the thing. Hey, man, that one's from you. I see people drive alone in a car wearing a mask and wonder if they lay in a bed alone. Saulo always brings a little spice, right? Saulo, please don't do anything. Great. FBI director, Attorney General walk into a bar. Get it? William Barr. When the coronavirus prevents you from touching and sniffing people. All right, see, we're hitting everybody equally here. Biden, Trump's hair. This is a worldwide meme fest. Oh, come on. I'm a lioness. That's not how you spell lioness. Oh my God. We got to get some more Republican jokes, man. Where are we at? Get off this beach. It's unsafe. See that Walmart over there? Go there. Where did you get these? If you are loved or a loved one or die from injecting disinfectant, call the law office. You're a moron and deserve it. All right, we're wrapped up. We're wrapped up with the memes. That is a good one to wrap up on. All right, it's time to wrap up the show. We're having some fun tonight. We always try to wrap up with something interesting and hilarious. Look, tough times. I would tell you that it's okay to have some fun, especially when we're all locked up and quarantined and times are tough. And people are restless, man. They're restless. But two things you need to remember. A couple things. One is just because times are tough. We got a pandemic. We're challenged in our daily way of lives. Jobs are lost. You're wondering where your next paycheck's going to come from. How are you going to pay the bills? You get worried, and rightfully so. All of us of any variety are worried and scared. That doesn't mean you give up your rights to get security. That is the last thing you should do. So, when people challenge you and try to take away your rights, whether it's freedom of speech, and I get it. We had a guy earlier, Taj, said about the hate speech and the stuff at City Hall and the proclamation today. I get it. Some people think we need that stuff. That's fine. It's not San Antonio I grew up in. It's not San Antonio we are. It's not San Antonio we're going to be. But when you give up some, you'll never get it back, folks. Ever. Ever. It's gone. You give up your rights, they're gone. So don't. It is right and good to challenge your government. We have fun on the show, maybe today a little more fun than others, but whatever. But there are points in everything. You got to uncover the facts. You got to put a voice out there. Don't just roll over and do what your government says. If you do, you're going to get exactly what you deserve. It's like sitting there injecting Clorox because the president told me to do it. If you're that active in believing in Donald Trump that you're going to inject Clorox and deter, go for it. I mean, that's on you, man. It ain't on Donald Trump. But the bottom line, don't give up your rights. You won't get them back. And the San Antonio City Council passing resolutions that don't reflect our community, don't reflect who we are, where we come from, what we believe, our history, our present, and our future, does not match what the San Antonio City Council passed today. It is not us. And I will stand up for San Antonio, as I'm sure hundreds of thousands of people would say. You don't describe us. You don't represent us with a proclamation like that, telling us how we can act. Don't forget, if you don't believe in what the system tells you to do, your rights to speak up are just as protected as those elected officials downtown at City Hall. It is right and good to challenge, to speak your mind, and as an American, you are allowed to say the things, even if it boils my blood. And I think it's racist, disgusting, attacking, demeaning, unfortunately, right? And depending on the language, and there's sometimes unfortunate. That is a right, man. And unfortunately, it may hurt your feelings. And you may think, man, that's terrible. Man, that hurts me. I'm pissed off. Our rights deserve it. Our rights are there for us. We've earned them. It's in the Constitution. We've earned it with blood. We've earned it on the battlefield. We've earned it all over this country for decades, centuries. People can say what they think. Stand up for it. Believe it. Put your heart out there. Don't be afraid to say it. If you disagree, come on the show. Let's have a conversation about it, man. Let's talk about it, right? We don't need to run around proclaiming we don't hate people, because at the end of the day, people know we don't. The decisions don't reflect us. It's because City Council does not represent us. They do not represent you. Elected by that small, by 13% of the community, you don't represent us. Actions like today show that. Stay informed. Stay tuned. Get the facts. Make your own information and decisions. Don't be afraid to argue, disagree, in part friends or part just respectfully. We're all different. We all think differently. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But today's world, there is. And if we don't get it back, act like Americans, forgive and follow that Constitution, we're dead in the water. The broadcast is happy to have you. We'll be back next week. We're going to retool a little bit, start to do things a little bit differently. I want to bring in some anti. I want to bring in some pro. We're going to do some debates here in the future with politics, back to candidates, go on the road. We got to retool. We got to get better. We got to put more information out there. We got to make it happen. We value. We want you to like, share, and tag it. Push it out. And as always, we are thankful. And we wrap with the broadcast is officially out.